This comes as a game of hot potato continues over control of the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump claiming that the United States has, quote, total control over the Strait of Hormuz. I think we will keep it.
Iran saying not so fast, with a spokesperson for the terror regime's military saying the waterway is under the, quote, complete management and control of the Islamic Republic of Iran.
All the back and forth leaving commercial shipping wary of crossing the waterway. The latest data shows just 14 vessels did so on Tuesday.
Joining us now is former Deputy National Security Advisor KT McFarland. KT, it's a pleasure to see you tonight. So I'm hearing a lot of different things out of the Strait of Hormuz, okay? You've got Iran saying one thing, President Trump, of course, saying another. I know who to believe there, President Trump, okay. But I'm looking at ship traffic from the guys who track that stuff. And then I'm listening to the energy secretary talk about how much oil we're getting out of the region. It doesn't quite all add up. So KT, help me out. What's the real situation in terms of ships getting in and out and oil getting in and out of Hormuz?
All right, before the war, we were getting about 20 million barrels a day out of the whole region. Now, today, and again, as you point out, some of the independent trackers say, well, we're not getting that much out. We're getting maybe 5, 7 million. And then the Secretary of Energy says, no, we're getting more like 9 or 10. And you don't understand, you independent trackers, because you're not seeing the stuff that's moving covertly. The bottom line is between what's somehow moving it through the Strait of Hormuz and what's moving out of the region with pipelines is probably 15 million where it used to be 20 million. So it's a reduction, maybe 20%, 25%. But in addition to that, the United States has ramped up its oil exports. You know, instead of like looking at how many ships are going through, how many million barrels a day, let's just look at the price. The price of oil before the Iran war started was about low 70s, $71 a barrel. Now, today, even with all the blockades and all the fighting and Iran saying they have control of the strait, it's only about $80 a barrel. So if they have control of the strait and they're so tough, they're not making the, the meter isn't moving a lot on the price of oil.
One other thing I'll add before we move on, Iraq confirming it's selling some of its crude inside the Persian Gulf to the National Oil Company of Abu Dhabi, or ADNOC. In turn, ADNOC taking those barrels outside the Strait of Hormuz. ADNOC has pioneered the dark tanker shuttle runs in and out of the Strait of Hormuz. Quite frankly, it's just whether we quote these vessels moving. Well, they're vessels moving that we don't quote every day. And all you need to do is look at the price of oil. Is oil making its way to market? And the actual futures price says yes and hell yes at $81 a barrel. KT, switching gears to the Russia-Ukraine war, Ukraine launching a major drone and missile offensive deep inside Russia, hitting Black Sea fleet facilities and key agricultural infrastructure. Russia firing back, striking Ukraine's major grain export ports. This exchange comes as Ukraine is in the middle of harvest and export season, putting more pressure on the global grain market already under strain. But Ukraine gives nothing. And I just wonder when Putin maybe feels pressure from within the Kremlin.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's the key. Putin's been able to fight this war with no real pressure, right? Because oil prices have been high under the Biden administration, and because it hasn't really affected the average life of the average person in Moscow, the people that Putin cares about. He may be a dictator, but he has to actually care about somebody's opinion, and that's the group he cares about. Their lives have been made much worse most recently, and that's because Ukraine has been very successful at targeting those energy infrastructure within Russia. So it makes the life harder for the Russians. The other thing about the shipping is that, Ukraine is attacking Russian grain ships, Russia attacking Ukrainian grain ships. They're both major exporters of grain. What it's going to do, though, is make a real difference in the price of grain and foodstuffs around the world, because it means Russia #1 producer, Ukraine #2 producer. If they're not getting their goods to market, that means you're going to see a big spike in prices of grain.
KT McFarland, we will watch that closely, surely. Always nice to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.